How would you like to be living a life of financial independence and luxury as a result of some investments you made? Living a life going to tropical locations for holidays or just for the fun of it, for the sake of with friends, going to luxury restaurants, going to high-end hotels, flying first class, and just going around the world as you wish. That life seems pretty fun if you ask me. And today I want to actually go through and explain to you how some people actually unlock this level of financial freedom for themselves through investing in crypto and things. Now, at the peak of the market, you probably saw a lot of people posting on social media this life of luxury, going around in supercars, going on tropical locations for holidays, and doing whatever they felt like, and especially at a very, very young age. And you're probably looking at these people saying, how the hell do they make these explosive gains when I invested in crypto itself as well and didn't get the same kind of results? Or you're asking yourself, man, I wish I actually started when they started as well, or did what they did. Now, the person I explained above who's actually unlocked this level of financial freedom for themselves, I'm actually going to go into and explain to you how they actually unlocked this for themselves. And it's probably a little bit different to what you've actually done for yourself, but at the same time, it's actually very, very simple and basic, and it's a very simple practice that you can actually follow and implement yourself. So I'm here today to tell you that you can actually have these financial and explosive results for yourself through investments and crypto. But it all comes down to the kind of approach you take and the different kind of strategies you implement in the right types of markets so that you can actually get the most bang for your buck and end up in a much better financial situation for yourself and live that life of freedom and luxury for yourself as well. Now, if you invested in the last market cycle in 2017 right at the peak of the market and you bought just before it actually crashed, you probably have a viewpoint on the actual crypto space that it's a bit of a scam, that it just comes down to luck, and probably people who made a lot of money had inside information, and that's the reason why they did very, very well. And you most likely also sold, came down significantly over 70% of its all-time high value from $20,000 to I think around $4,000. But what if I told you, if you had just held from that peak when you bought it at the high of the market cycle in 2017, 2018 until now, you're probably sitting at roughly around even money, maybe a little bit less, depending on where you are in the world and different exchange rates of different currencies. But for the actual value of Bitcoin in US dollar terms, it's roughly around the same price as it was back in 2017, 2018 at its peak. But between that peak and where we are right now, Bitcoin has actually come down 70% and gone to about $4,000 and then actually gone all the way up to $60,000. So had you actually held during that downturn and actually sold when they came up back up higher, you probably would have actually ended up being in a profitable position. Or if you did something slightly different and actually bought at the bottom of the market, down when it was around $3,000 to $4,000, and actually rode it all the way up to its peak, you would have been sitting up at roughly 20 times the amount you had actually invested. So if you had invested just $1,000, you'd be sitting on roughly $20,000 at its all-time high when it reached that back earlier in 2022. Or even if you had just bought it at that low during that time at around $3,000 to $4,000 and sold it now, you're still probably sitting at about 4 to 5 times what you actually invested. So that same $1,000 is probably sitting between $4,000 and $5,000, which, if you ask me, is a really good return on your investment. So the person I explained above who actually made that killing in the markets, in the crypto and stocks and things like that, he actually just did that one very, very simple method. Bought low, held for a long period of time, sold higher. So even though the market could have gone down significantly from when he actually bought in, he would have actually ridden it up and sold at a higher price to where he actually bought it at and then profited off that increase in valuation. So as long as you don't actually sell at a loss and as long as you invested in some kind of tokens or products or stocks which do have long-term value, you should be all right to kind of wait out any kind of market downturn. So quite simply put, what they actually did was just literally buy and hold, even though that the value of the coins in their portfolio would have gone down significantly during the downturn. They knew that long term, as long as the tokens they had invested in were of high value, that it was going to go up higher. So one of the best things you can actually do when it comes to investing and stuff like that, especially when markets are down, is always set and forget, because the more you look at it, the more you're going to stress yourself out and get emotional about it, especially if valuations do come down 90% or higher or whatever it might come down over the time. And that will kind of play on your emotions, and you'll probably feel like selling to kind of recoup some of those losses and kind of get out of that position and put your money towards something else. Now that is something you can do, but it's a lot more difficult, and you're going to have to kind of wait it out a lot longer to regain those losses if you're buying and selling again. Whereas if you just kind of held, you would do a lot better over the long term. And one thing to remember though is that the crypto space is constantly developing and improving over time. So it's always good to kind of keep a close eye on what the actual space itself is doing. And I'm going to go over a couple of things at the end of this video, which will actually highlight what I'm actually looking at for the upcoming next market cycle. Because what they say with crypto is that the space moves in 4-year cycles. So we're kind of in the middle of that cycle at the moment, where it could potentially start moving up higher from here, which makes now a reasonable time to actually start looking at things to invest in for the long term, and especially since valuations are down significantly from their all-time highs. But when do we know when the market is at its low and it's the best time to actually start investing? Well, that's the million-dollar question, and to answer that, there is no simple response. And one of the best things you can actually do for yourself when it comes to that is actually dollar cost average, which quite simply means that you're kind of buying into a product or stock or a coin over a long period of time with a kind of a predefined investment strategy, so that you're not kind of just dumping all your money in one hit, and you're kind of just staging it over time, taking in all the highs and lows over that period of time while you're investing. And one of the best ways to actually do this and take advantage of that dollar cost averaging investment strategy is if you can actually automate the entire process itself, because that removes the entire human element of investing and saving and things like that, so that you don't actually have to physically do it yourself and second guess what you're doing. You're just kind of allowing it to automatically make those decisions for you, because you've already made these predefined rules and guidelines to actually how you're investing and what kind of strategy you're doing, and then you're just removing yourself from that process and allowing that automation process to actually and just make the investments for you. So knowing this could actually be a reasonable time to actually start investing in the markets and actually setting up a dollar cost averaging trade automation strategy for yourself, so that you can actually take advantage of these lower prices of the entire crypto market as itself. Even as stocks are coming down with all this market turmoil, you can actually start looking at things which you can actually get at a discount, actually start putting your money into, so that over time as it comes back up higher, you're actually in a much better financial position, and then you can actually take advantage of that rise up. And as I said in my short, which I posted the other week, that if you were to just invest in Bitcoin as it is right now, and it was just to go back to its all-time high, you're looking at roughly 2 to 3xing your money, which is a pretty good risk reward, considering if you're going to buy at the peak of the market and when everyone was saying it's going to $100,000, which is only about a 50-60% return compared to 2 times, 3 times which it is at the moment. You're much better off buying now rather than at the peak of the market. And if you can dollar cost average now, even if the market does come lower, you'll increase that risk reward and actually make potentially larger gains even on an average basis. So this is pretty much why I'm saying it might be actually a decent time to actually start getting into the market now, so you actually get those explosive returns for yourself and actually start living that life you might dream of being able to travel the world and doing whatever it is that you might like doing. So some things I'm actually looking at in the market moving forward, which I was saying at the start of the video, that could potentially be drivers for the market forward is Bitcoin and its Lightning Network, which will allow for much faster transactions in general. Ethereum, now which has gone to proof of stake, which is a new consensus mechanism, and its layer 2 solutions to actually kind of alleviate the congestion and slow transaction times on the Ethereum blockchain, and also make the transaction costs a lot cheaper, and also other layer 2 solutions. Other potential layer 1 solutions like Solana, Ripple, Cardano, which still might have a play in the actual marketplace itself, but not as significant as Ethereum, or it could actually even overtake Ethereum, but that's speculation and there's a lot of other things involved with that and why it might not happen. Or also some other interchain operating systems such as Polkadot and Chainlink, which allow for interchain communication between, say, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, whatever it might actually happen. So having a look at those, and those are the ways I see the market moving, is potentially what I'm actually going to put my money in moving forward. So as always, do your own research into the coins and tokens you're actually looking at, because there is a whole bunch of information out there, and everyone actually has a different investment strategy for themselves which works. So as I was saying, it could be a very reasonable time to actually start looking at dollar cost averaging into the market and start accumulating coins in projects that you actually like, so that you can actually take advantage of any significant run up in the markets. Now, I've actually heard as well that the likes of BlackRock are actually looking at investing more into crypto and actually have started buying in large amounts of the market, especially now that it's a lot lower, so they can actually make for these bigger gains. So it's always advised to try and follow these big players. So if you're actually new to the crypto space and you actually are looking at investing, I'll probably stick with the 2 largest kind of brokers, which are Binance and CoinSpot, which pretty much offer like the largest group of coins anyway, and you probably don't have to go out too far out of those. If you actually are new to crypto itself as well, you probably want to stick to some of the larger coins, or like the top 20 coins on the marketplace, because those will probably have the best chance of survival and during any downturns. And if they keep working on the actual projects themselves, will show the greatest potential over the longest term. So you can actually go to CoinMarketCap to actually have a look at that. And if you actually want to join those two brokers, I've got links for those down below. So I hope that video has been very helpful for you guys. Don't forget guys, smash that like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys again on the next video. Cheers.